वेलकम एवरीबॉडी टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। आप सबने बहुत रिक्वेस्ट करी थी कि मैं एक वीडियो बनाऊं फिजियोलॉजी ऑफ फर्स्ट ब्रेथ पे। So here I am with the most requested video by you all, that is the physiology of first breath. What happens when the baby does his first wah wah? What happens when the baby takes his or her that first breath? There are multiple changes that is happening inside that tiny little neonatal lung. Today we'll be discussing about that only. So what happens at birth or till the baby is inside the womb, the uterus in a safe guarded place? The respiratory unit, which is the alveoli, it remains collapsed. Why does it remain collapsed? It remains collapsed because of the surface tension that fills them, right? The alveoli is collapsed. Now the baby, it has entered the world. It needs to respire on its own. It needs to have its own breathing pattern. So what happens? It requires a stimulus. And that stimulus is hypoxia. And how hypoxia is the stimulus? Now, when the baby is born, we have noticed we clamp the umbilical cord, and this occlusion of the umbilical cord which has taken place, it has interrupted the conversation which was happening between the mother and the baby. Now, this conversation, when this is interrupted, what happens is hypoxia occurs. Why? There is no exchange of gases now between the two. अभी तक तो बहुत गॉसिपिंग चल रही थी दोनों मम्मी और बच्चे में, लेकिन अब क्योंकि अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड कट हो गई है, अम्बिलिकल कॉर्ड क्लैम्प हो गई है, देयर इज नो एक्सचेंज ऑफ gases between the two. Now this has created a situation where there is low PO2 level, increase in the PCO2 level, and my dear friends, there is decrease in the pH, right? I hope everybody is with me. Now, this hypoxia, we know this is required to activate the peripheral and the central chemoreceptors, right? So now we know what is the trigger point, what is the stimulus, how the chemoreceptors are helping, but still we don't know what has the first breath caused. So that breathing to happen, we know we require an intrapleural pressure. And that intrapleural pressure, my dear friends, we know is always negative, right? So here also the intrapleural pressure has to be negative. पर इतना एफर्ट क्यों कि बेबी को रोना जरूरी है, बेबी को इतना डीप ब्रेथ लेना जरूरी है? Now you will know. To overcome this collapsed alveolar state, it requires tremendous amount of intrapleural pressure, right? To overcome this, we require a tremendous amount of intrapleural pressure, nearly of about 55 to 60 centimeters of water, above 40 on the safe side. Let us see in the next curve what happens when this negative intrapleural pressure is overcome. This is the curve discussing about the first breath, the second breath, and what happens after 40 minutes. Bringing our focus to the first curve, that is the first breath. If you can see, it is from 0 because we know intrapleural pressure is always negative. That is why it is becoming more and more and more and more negative. Now what happens is, as soon as it reaches about minus 40 centimeters of water, as soon as this pressure is achieved, what happens is there is some influx of air, right? Now, if you bring your focus here, when this pressure of minus 60 centimeters of water is achieved, there is approximately 40 milliliters of air inside, right? So for the first breath, we require at least 40 centimeters of water to initiate some influx of air. And as soon as we reach about minus 60 centimeters of water, we have approximately 40 ml of air. It is good enough, right? Moving your focus to the second curve. अरे इसमें तो 60 तक तो गया ही नहीं. फर्स्ट ब्रेथ सेकंड ब्रेथ दोनों में तो ज्यादा अंतर है नहीं. फिर माइनस 60 तक क्यों नहीं गया? Why? Because the collapsed alveoli which were there during the first breath are now open. अब क्योंकि alveoli खुल गई हैं, type 2 alveolar pneumocytes, they have started sending surfactant. अब हमें उतना इंट्राप्लेनर प्रेशर की जरूरत नहीं है जितना हमें पहले जरूरत थी. Alveoli खुल गई हैं, surfactant पहुंच गए हैं, right? So here, as you can see, it requires less effort, right? So अब हमने जिक्र किया surfactant, right? So what is surfactant? Surfactant is an active substance, which is an active substance. What happens is it is present between the air and the water as it decreases the interfacial tension, right? There are certain hormones also which help in the synthesis of the surfactant. Like we have certain growth factors, we have thyroid hormone, we have thyroid stimulating hormone, we have most importantly the glucocorticoids. And which is the most important surfactant that we know? It is the dipalmitoyl phosphatidylcholine, DPPC in short. Now, it is this surfactant which is left when the baby is born with respiratory distress syndrome. वो बोलते हैं बेबी रेस्पिरेटरी एफर्ट्स नहीं दे पा रहा है, इसको फिर एनआईसी में रखना पड़ेगा. या बेबी फ्री टर्म बॉर्न हो गया है, उसको छोड़ता है एनआईसी रखना पड़ेगा. It is because of this surfactant which is responsible. This surfactant is less. That is why there is structural the undergrowth and there is decrease in the surfactant that is leading to this distress contribution, right? So what happens is once the baby is born free term, we generally do insert the steroid in the antenatal period. But our antenatal period में भी steroid नहीं दे पाए हैं. What we can do is the baby is born with respiratory distress syndrome. We say what other treatment we can give is we can give surfactant to free children. So now after this lecture we know why the first breath of the baby is really important. I hope you like the video. As in case you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Signing off.